Well, welcome back to Mad Lizard RC. So, after this weekend, Saturday racing event, we, took out 3 of the boats, went racing with them. The mono and the hydro, they did actually quite well. My mono, I placed second place. I was only 25 points behind the first place winner. It was so close with that one, but overall, good, performance out of the mono. The hydro, that was a third place win. Got behind, I had, I was a little, I had a little issue. The weather was getting pretty bad, and so, but third place, I'll still take it, not too bad. But the ace, we had a pretty bad day on Saturday with racing. So with the ace on the very first heat of the morning, got the boat on water. I got 2 laps into it, and then I was being a little too aggressive with it, and I decided to try to take lane 1 and come on the inside of someone through a corner, and I ended up taking out one of the buoys. So basically, I hit the buoy, came across the front, and then the front wing right here, snapped the wing off. And so what happens is the wings floating in the water. I go around for a second lap. I'm still just trying to finish out the race at that point. I can come back from my wing later, and then I come around and end up running over my wing from there. Which from there, the rudder that's on the back side of here. There's a breakaway bolt from there, which is just a brass bolt, Speedmaster rudder with a brass bolt. Well, it decided not to break, but instead break out the whole entire transom. So, hopefully you guys can see, blew out the whole entire transom, broke it out away from the back of the boat. And so, last night, finally got this all glued up, and which also from Saturday, being a wood boat, if the wood's wet, it's hard to make any repairs or any glues to stick. So maybe I could dig for the photo, but I actually put it into like a drying chamber I used that had some like drying equipment to be able to dry out the wood a little bit better. So I have a good solid point to glue to. And one thing with wood is actually really easy to work on. Most glues, most epoxies will work. Like I use G-Flex for a lot of my epoxies with wood and thickened stuff especially. It's easy to apply, easy to sand, and it works great for wood. So I got this repaired. You can see the crack just a little bit, but but you can still see a little bit. But intentions, I'm gonna have to sand it down, clean it up, and repaint. It's just no big deal. That's kind of part of racing. Expected. Something will happen. Take out a buoy. It's just shit happens. It's just what it is. It's part of racing, unfortunately. So, what I did is, I fixed the original transom on here, re-glued it all back in here. Working with wood boats is actually really easy to where you can use little thumbtacks, and where I've hammered them into the back right here to be able to keep pressure while the G-Flex epoxy, sets up and cures. So, that's all cured from there. Boat's all dried out. So now what I've done is taking a piece of carbon fiber, and we're going to reinforce the back of the boat with carbon fiber. So this guy will go right in here and get glued in here, and it's going to add more of a doubler, almost a tripler here, just give a little bit more strength on that. It's going to glue it all the way around to the bottom, up through the sides and stuff. Now with carbon fiber, I've glued carbon fiber in with epoxies and some other products. I did experience one time where I glued it in with epoxy before, and I ended up taking a really bad nosedive and basically torpedoed one of my boats a couple of years ago, and to the point to where all the epoxy broke free, and the battery tray, the ESC tray, and the motor all broke away. So before that, I've been always using JB Weld, marine weld, and I've always had good success. That's, I've been taught, someone taught me that years ago, for building boats, is using marine grade JB Weld. It's got a high PSI strength to it. And, before, when I first started building boats, that's what I used. I used epoxy before, I had my issue, but, other people may not. But, it's user preference. And, JB Weld for any type of carbon fiber work, it's just always kind of been my go-to. Because a lot of motor mounts, a lot of parts are carbon fiber. So, I'm going to show you a trick for working with carbon fibers. Also when you're cutting this stuff out, it is, you don't want to breathe it in, so you definitely want to be wearing a dust mask. When you're sanding, dust mask, at least, some type of vacuum going at the same time, something. So what I actually done with this guy here is I drafted up a design in my AutoCAD program, and then I have a machine down there in the corner. Yeah, that's my other machine down there that will cut everything, the carbon fiber and whatever miscellaneous materials I want. So anyway, so back to this guy here. So JB Weld for this. So another thing with when you're working with JB Weld to try to get like a nice clean line, especially when you're mounting stuff, is first tape off everything you don't want the JB Weld to be at, and then also sand, 60 grit, 80 grit, wherever you put that JB Weld, make sure you sand it really good. So basically it kind of digs into the surface of, I got carbon fiber here, or even with fiberglass a little bit, gives it something to bite to, especially with carbon fiber. If it's smooth, there's not a good bite to it. So, sand it down. So I've sanded the backside down, and sanded all my edges where, I'm going to apply a nice bead JB Weld up around there. And then I still got to tape off the backside because I don't want JB Weld on the backside or, on the side, just enough, just here, a little bit on the front to make a fillet, and then just across the top a little bit. So, I've been wanting to to strengthen this up for a while. I knew it was weak when I built the boat first. And, again, when you're building boats, a lot of times it's a learning experience. You build it and it's like, oh man, I should have done this different. Man, maybe on the next one I'll, you change tactics and you kind of learn. So, when I, honestly, this, for a tent scale, scale looking boat, honestly, this was my first scale I've actually built. I've built many other hull kits like a Black Pearl, a couple ML boat work. So this is my first kind of scale, and it was different. And it was a little bit of a learning experience all the way through. Made a couple mistakes here and there, but reworked them, and so far it's a good solid hull. I did get a chance to did get the chance to do a little more running and racing after doing the change of the sponsons. That made a big difference there. And so I just need to, reinforce this. So we're going to take care of this right now. So I'm going to stop jabbering my mouth, and then we're going to do this. It's a JB Weld Marine 2-part. It's a 50-50. When we get into the visible areas, I'll show you a trick. There'll be another trick when working with this stuff too. And that's how to make it actually look really clean and smooth. And once you do this a few times, you'll start developing better ways of doing it. But I found, popsicle sticks to be the best at doing this. And then you can cut them down to the size that you need, and that works best. Alright, so that guy's on there. Alright, so then we'll take the popsicle stick from here. Now this is a tedious part. So just take the popsicle stick, push it into your edge all the way through. All the way around. And this part you don't have to worry about being as clean because you have the tape. You got your tape line. You don't have to worry about getting on the rest of the boat. And then when you're done, you just peel the tape back and you have nice clean lines. All right, so now we got the epoxy in there. So here's the trick. Heat. Heat is your best friend with this stuff. And so break out, you know, a heat gun if you got one. Come through with the heat gun, and you can just heat it up in what kind of turns into almost like a liquid. And just kind of being gentle. Don't go mad crazy on it. But you can actually use the heat and see how it's kind of shining out a little bit more now. And you can use it to manipulate a lot of it and get that nice clean look. And so we'll let that cure. It takes 24 hours. Put that off to the side. So, but anyway, so that's working with JB Weld. This is day 3 of this repair work, tear down and everything like that. So now reinforcing. I'm gonna get all the blue tape removed, get some clamps on it. So that way we get a nice solid connection. So okay, and then the last one. So I have removing the last. There we go. Now you kind of see it's got that nice clean look. Not bad. Anyways. Well, hopefully you guys found that helpful. This is at least, you know, I got more work to do. Once this all cures right here, then I can start kind of reassemble a little bit. I'm going to change the back a little bit, and then we're going to add a piece of aluminum plate back here for the rudder to screw into. Tolerances and everything are tight. So maybe I might throw up a video on making that aluminum plate, because it is helpful, because when you build a hydro, especially up into the sponsons, didn't see that. No rig. Especially up in the sponsons, right up in here, you want to have that plate on the inside, 1/8 aluminum, so you can mount your turn fin. I'm sorry, left-hand direction boat. So on that side here. So, you know, this guy's set up for turning to the left. I always get that confused. Back and forth. There's too many boats turn right. Anyways, thanks for watching. Mad Lizard RC. Please stay tuned for more. Hopefully this finds it helpful. You know, to me, JB Weld, that's what I use for mounting a lot of my stuff. And, you know, that right there for the blue tape, heat and stuff like that, is what I do here. Let's see if I can get a close up there. You can kind of see what I got going there with that mount. So anyways, thanks for watching.